Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. So I received a package yesterday, so today I just wanted to show everyone the newest addition to the CGC 9.8 collection here. And this is a book that I got really excited about, to be honest. I was just sort of looking on eBay and kind of realized I wanted it just based on the cover and like a really cool first appearance. And then I looked on the CGC census though and realized that this is a very, very rare book for a modern book. A book that came out in 2008. So once I figured that out, I got really excited about it. Really quick, before we get into it, we'll get it in a full unbox with all the details. I wanted to invite everyone to join the team and subscribe to Team CGC 9.8 and hit the bell to get all the latest notifications. And add me on Instagram and Twitter too. I got all the links in the description below for that. But yeah, I'd love to have you on our comic book collecting team. Over 1,000 subscribers now, which is kind of unbelievable. And so thankful for everyone subscribing and supporting the channel. Let's get right into the newest edition comic though here. Yeah, lots of things to talk about and mention it being so rare and just got really excited about it. So yeah, newest edition of the collection is a Guardians of the Galaxy #1 from 2008. And mentioned being so excited about it, I grabbed another one too. And I sort of showed this one on another video and mentioned that I was out there hunting for another one. And ended up kind of grabbing another one really quick. So I got kind of lucky in that sense. But so let's talk a little bit about this issue, Guardians of the Galaxy #1 from 2008. This is sort of known as like the first full appearance of the new team, Guardians of the Galaxy. And we'll look on the census here. There's 162 CGC 9.8s in the blue label out there. But more importantly, that CGC 9.8 ratio is 23.3%. So of all graded copies, 23.3% are CGC 9.8s. And for a book that came out in 2008, for modern books, that is really low, which is just another way of saying really rare. The lower, the better for these CGC 9.8 ratios. So again, of all graded copies, only 23.3% of them are 9.8s. Really low for a modern book. Now, a detail to mention, and we'll get into price too here for sure, but a detail to mention is Annihilation Conquest #6 is sort of when the new team Guardians of the Galaxy forms, and that comes out a month earlier than this issue. So there's another first appearance that is sort of an earlier first appearance for the new team, Guardians of the Galaxy. That CGC 9.8 ratio is just over 50% for that book. So not nearly as rare in the CGC 9.8 as this book. So keep that in mind. So price we'll talk about here. The first book, the Guardians of the Galaxy #1 I grabbed was $160 I grabbed it for. This one I paid $190 for. And it had really good shipping to Canada, so I just thought, an extra 10 or 20 bucks is kind of worth it with the really cheap shipping that I usually don't see to Canada. So, yeah, kind of glad to grab another CGC 9.8 Guardians of the Galaxy #1 from 2008. Such a rare book. And to kind of drill down a little bit more on that 23.3% CGC 9.8 ratio, because maybe if you're used to looking at like 80s books, that might not seem, too attractive or anything like that, but let's look at a couple other books here, because I have what I would say are 5 modern mega keys here, and all of them are not as rare in the CGC 9.8 as this book. So, Ultimate Fallout 4, First Miles Morales, first print, that's a 32% CGC 9.8 ratio. So the lower the better, this is 23.3%, 32% for an Ultimate Fallout 4, which is quite low when you look at some other key issues, and we will here. Modern key issues we're talking about here. So just for comparison purposes as well, the Ultimate Fallout 4 Djurjevic variant, which is the very extremely rare low printed variant of Ultimate Fallout 4, that CGC 9.8 ratio is 26%. So still not as rare as this book. That that Djurjevic variant is like $2,000 or over. Like $2,000 is a good deal on that in the CGC 9.8. Still not as rare as this book in the CGC 9.8. 26% CGC 9.8 ratio on that one. Edge of Spider-Verse #2. First Spider-Gwen. Really popular key. That's like 400-ish, we'll call it. 59.2% the CGC 9.8 ratio on that. So of all graded copies, 59.2% of them are CGC 9.8s compared to 23.3% of this book. So there's really a divergence there in rarity from this book to Edge of Spider-Verse #2. And I've said in the past I kind of like Ultimate Fallout 4 more than Edge of Spider-Verse #2 in the CGC 9.8 for that specific reason. Like, it's more rare. This is even more rare than both of them, and more rare than the Drzevic variant. NYX #3, first X-23, first Lady Wolverine, a huge modern key. That's like $650 to $700 in the CGC 9.8. That's a 40.3% CGC 9.8 ratio. So not even near as rare as this, really. This again with the 23.3. And last one here I want to compare it to is Batman Beyond #1. One of my favorite mega keys. And the last two here, NYX #3 and Batman Beyond #1, are older than this book. So, you know, I know Ultimate Fallout and Edge are sort of newer books. So you can make that argument, maybe because they're newer, they're not as rare. But these two books are older. Batman Beyond, the CGC 9.8 ratio is 38%. Not really nearly as rare as this book either. So, you know, all those great first appearances, first Batman Beyond, first X-23, first Spider-Gwen, first Ultimate Fallout 4, not nearly as rare as the first full Guardians of the Galaxy appearance too, at the 23.3% CGC 9.8 ratio. So, you know, obviously I grabbed two of them and I got excited about the rarity. I think, you know, just kind of concluding up with the unbox here really quick. I think right around sort of, I think 170 is the fair value. That was when I was doing my research before I bought any of them. On Go Collect it said 170 was the fair value. So you get one for 160 and then one for 190. You kind of split the difference, so I basically got them for about fair value. I think that's a great price right now, and given the rarity of this issue, and given that we're in between the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, you know, I think this has got a chance to definitely get up there to maybe about $300 when the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie comes out. You know, I'm not really a short-term guy. I don't think I'm going to sell any of mine or anything like that, but certainly will enjoy the prices I see if, you know, paying sort of on average about $175, I guess, for both of these. I really think this has got potential, and the wild card, I think, is that, you know, people like me, you know, kind of collectors and things like that, they're going to really, over time, this low CGC 9.8 ratio is really going to get noticed, I think, and I think for that reason alone, it's worth the $175 price tag, let's call it right now. Yeah, so just, again, I got excited about this one, and definitely don't get excited about too many books, especially like modern books. Can't say I get, you know, too excited about modern books, because a lot of times there's not too much nostalgia behind them. But for this one, it's really rare in the CGC 9.8, and, you know, a lot of potential with the, you know, first, and because this book is more rare than Annihilation Conquest #6, I think this has got a chance to kind of outduel that, and it already sort of has, because there's more 9.8s on the census in this book, so it's almost more popular than Annihilation Conquest 6. Really cool cover, yeah, I really like the cover. You know, it's not a apples to apples comparison, but kind of reminds me of X-Men, Giant Size X-Men #1 and X-Men 94. This is sort of the X-Men 94 to the Annihilation Conquest being Giant Size X-Men, where it's, you know, the earlier book. However, this is a lot more rare in the CGC 9.8. So if you can imagine if X-Men 94 for some reason was just way more rare than Giant Size X-Men #1, that's kind of the situation we have here. And yeah, another thing I was thinking about too on the last point here is, you know, when I was growing up, X-Men the Animated Series was like I love that show, and, you know, I can't say I was the biggest reader of X-Men comics, but that's what really made me love X-Men. I think a lot of people really love X-Men. Then you grow up, and like first appearance of Wolverine and Giant Size X-Men just explode in value. So I have a feeling these MCU Guardians of the Galaxy movies they're my favorite MCU movies. Like, I really love the Avengers ones too, and the Thor movies. They're all pretty good, but I really liked how they kind of did something completely different with Guardians of the Galaxy. And I think there's just a lot of kids seeing them now that are going to grow up in 10 or 20 years. And these books, I'm not going to say they're going to be the next Giant Size X-Men and X-Men 94, but I do have that kind of feeling where there's a lot of people that really like these Guardians of the Galaxy movies now. And if you have a long-term time horizon like me, you know, I just really want to hold these for a really long time and get a good pride of ownership from them for a long time. And I think with that time frame, you got a really good chance and a lot of potential with these sort of 2 books here that are associated with the first appearance of the new team, Guardians of the Galaxy. But this book, since it's so rare in the 9.8, even more potential. Yeah. And again, like, yeah, I just think it's all a relative thing. So me comparing them to those key issues that I did, the rarity, I think that's really important. Yeah, this is the lowest of them all out of like sort of the main Marvel keys. I always say there's like those 3 main Marvel keys: Ultimate Fallout 4, Edge of Spider-Verse 2, and NYX number 3. So this is more rare than all of them, and still a really iconic first appearance that's got a lot of potential because, yeah, the movie and everything like that. So really, I think even anywhere under 200 here, I think in the CGC 9.8, a really good copy in the new case, I think you could go for here, and especially if you have a long-term time horizon. Could easily see this book with that low CGC 9.8 ratio, the lowest of them all. Again, I stress that. Could see it like getting close to Ultimate Fallout 4, like, and you know, Ultimate Fallout 4 has been pretty hot lately, but it was around 350 maybe about a month or 2 ago there, or maybe even a little bit longer ago. It's kind of heated up since, I think, but if this book can get anywhere near 350, I think it's got a chance because of the rarity. And certainly when this next Guardians of the Galaxy movie, yeah, good time to buy right now. In between these Guardians of the Galaxy movies, you certainly wouldn't want to buy when like the next trailer drops and like when it's out in theater. You're almost guaranteed to have some inflated prices for this book then. So yeah, now's the time to buy. Really rare book, so I recommend it. It's one I got, like I said, I got excited for. So pretty rare. I get excited for like a modern book that I'm not really like nostalgic for or anything like that. So yeah, an interesting modern book that you should definitely consider. Certainly if you're kind of a CGC 9.8 census geek like I am, I guess. So alright, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks so much for watching the video. Really appreciate all the support and having some great conversations on Instagram. And if you do have any questions about comic books or whatever it might be, message me on Instagram and yeah, I'll get back to you hopefully sooner rather than later. Alrighty, thanks again for watching today. That'll be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.